If you don't think economic collapse is coming and coming soon, you haven't been paying attention to what the Fed has done over the last 5 years and what President Obama is doing. When economic collapse finally hits, and it will, more than 50% of Americans will be completely wiped out in just a few weeks. And then what do you think will happen? So what are the 5 signs that we are heading for economic collapse or economic doomsday? Let us put it that way. Like the world has never seen before? Here they are. Number 1, almost 1/4 of all Americans have amassed more credit card debt than they have in emergency savings. That means that when massive layoffs start happening, people will only have a few weeks of savings before they are wiped out, and they won't even be able to afford groceries. They won't even be able to afford groceries, okay? And they will still have to pay their credit cards, all the while draining their non-existent savings. And it gets worse. Number 2, a full 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and when they lose their jobs, they can't buy groceries. They can't pay their bills, they can't put gas in their cars, and so on and so forth. Only 38% of people surveyed can cover a $500 repair bill, much less keep things going for even a couple of weeks with no pay. Number 3, stocks are facing an absolute monumental crash. Corporate debt is back to 2007 peak levels. Margin debt, which is money borrowed to buy stocks, is back to 2007 peak levels. Get this, China's GDP numbers are complete and utter fiction. China's rail freight volume is at a 24-year low. So we're in a global economy that when investors see the full impact and the market starts to slide, it will be a huge sinkhole of wealth destruction. Next, number 4. Okay, the economic disaster in Greece is unprecedented. How Greece has managed to hold on without total economic collapse is anyone's guess, but there's a looming disaster just waiting to happen in Europe over Greece. Greece can't pay their bills, and they have agreed to a 4-month extension of loan guarantees from the European Union, while on the other hand, their new socialist government under Prime Minister Alex Tsipras has already said that they won't even pay Greek debt to the EU, but the EU just loaned them even more money. A protest group called Antisera, I don't think I'm saying that right, they've called for defaulting on Greece's debt and nationalizing without compensation of major industries, banning layoffs, the disarmament of the police, full political and social rights for immigrants. Sure, please tell us what fantasy land that can actually happen in. Nothing like a good old dose of socialism with no means of financial support to ruin an economy there, folks. Of course it gets much worse. You didn't think that we're done yet, did you? Now this one is a good one, and just what you've been waiting for. Get this. The U.S. Treasury is spending billions of dollars they won't even account to Congress for. Get that? They won't even account to Congress for this. It's hard to believe, but we've come to a point in this country where Congress has asked the U.S. Treasury, the United States Treasury, to account for $3 billion in Obamacare payments, and they flat out told Congress no. Astoundingly, Representative Paul Ryan has asked the Treasury to explain why $3 billion in payments were made to health insurers, even though Congress never authorized that spending through annual appropriations. And the Treasury Department told him flat out they would not comply. Get that? The Treasury Department is being asked directly by Congress, by Representative Ryan, to account for $3 billion, and they basically said, we're not going to do it. If the Treasury Department under the Obama administration cannot and will not account for this kind of money, $3 billion, what else are they up to? At the orders of who else? Barack Hussein Obama. What are they up to? There you go. Economic collapse is looming in our government, from Congress to the Treasury to the Federal Reserve to President Obama himself. They know what's going on, and it is as if they want it to happen because no one is doing anything about it. Check out the links in the video description below for references on these 5 signs, and thanks for listening. And if you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button below this video so you will get updates when we post new videos. Thanks again.